move on because Kangana Ranaut's movie Emergency, at the center of a massive row after Sikh organization opposed its release, got no relief from the Bombay High Court today. This means the movie will miss its September 6 release date. The movie, based on the emergency imposed by the Indira Gandhi government in 1975, ran into trouble after the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, the apex religious body for Sikhs, alleged that it misrepresents Sikhs and sought a ban. Ms. Ranaut later said the censor board had put on hold the certificate issued to her film. Sources in the government said some religious organizations have raised concerns about the film. Religious sentiments cannot be hurt. There is some sensitive content in the movie, unquote. This is what the source told us, adding that the centre was seriously looking at the concerns. 2 Sikh organizations have filed a PIL against the movie in the Madhya Pradesh High Court. The apex religious body for Sikhs alleged that it misrepresents Sikhs and sought a ban. In its response, the censor board told the court that the movie had not been issued a certificate. The Madhya Pradesh High Court then disposed of the petition. While in its response, the CBFC told the court that the movie had not been issued a certificate. Arguing the matter in court, Zee's counsel, the makers of the movie, senior advocate Venkatesh Dhond, contradicted the government body. Dhond told the bench of Justice B.P. Kolabawala and Justice Firdosh Poniwala that CBFC informed Manikarnika Films, which is a label owned by Kangana Ranaut, on August 8 that the film is suitable for unrestricted public exhibition subject to some modifications. Modifications were made. On August 14, he said the filmmakers submitted the film to CBFC with the modifications. Viewers, that's what has been said by the counsel of the filmmakers. Now, while the Bombay High Court said that the Madhya Pradesh High Court's order was based on the centre's submission that the film isn't certified yet and that it is under examination, it did also give Kangana reason to hope. It said, quote, once the makers comply with the modifications required by CBFC and the CD with modifications is sealed successfully, we have to presume that the CBFC applied its mind and thereafter issued the email to Manikarnika that the CD of the film is successfully sealed, unquote. Now, viewers, what's going on? The centre, basically, viewers, is the issuing authority. The maker and the starer in this film is a BJP MP. The BJP MP is underwriting the fact that, look, this film is not hurting anybody. Yet, the government doesn't want to pass this movie because the ecosystem, the Congress, many parties are jumping down the throat of the government saying that you want to malign the Sikh community. These are sensitive issues, viewers. But I want to ask Guru Prakash Paswan, by this yardstick, Mr. Paswan, and this question has to be posed, by this yardstick, many communities said that, for example, the Kashmir files was problematic. You went ahead with the Kashmir files, you stood by it. What is so objectionable about this movie, The Emergency, that Kangana Ranaut has to suffer in silence?
No, Rahul, I don't think that's the case. The government is evaluating the position and at an appropriate time we'll take a call. But now just to make
what
a
is
decision,
the appropriate time?
Announce that...
no, did no one kill Indira Gandhi? Is it not true?
Rahul, Rahul, I think about the emergency, everyone played a role. I am live from Bihar and Bihar was the epicenter of the movement against emergency, and Bharatiya Jansangh, the precursor of the Bharatiya Janata Party, played an active role in it. So there is absolutely no point that the BJP is undermining the emergency in any which manner. But we have to take into account the concerns. And I am sure the government is evaluating its position. It's assessing the ins and the pros and the cons of it. At an appropriate time, a decision will be taken. And I don't see any point in further...
No determinate time, appropriate time. Appropriate time, viewers, let me tell you. 3 decisions that were rolled back, and we are going to be waiting for an appropriate time before they are brought on. Number 1, the 3 farm laws gone. Appropriate time hasn't come for it to be brought back. The Waqf board, appropriate time, God alone knows when. They say next session of parliament, hopefully. UCC, never been an appropriate time for that. Then you had, of course, several other decisions. And viewers, might I just tell you, the CA, appropriate time for the CA to be notified was 5 years. By then, by then Kangana Ranaut will really begin to resemble Indira Gandhi. She won't even need to put on all these prosthetics. Let me tell you this, viewers. Here we are in a situation where the government is not standing up. And this is a fundamental question, viewers, because it appears to me, and you read this on Twitter, and I hate that media in any case because you have all sorts of lumpers making all sorts of statements, but one or two of them made some sense the other day. They said that the government might be with the BJP, but the ecosystem runs the country. Isn't this what is said, Dr. Ranganathan and Advaita Kala? Dr. Ranganathan, go first, yeah.
Rahul, it would have been correct on a lot of occasions, but in this case it isn't. The thing to blame is not the ecosystem, system or ye sarkar baad mein blame karna. The thing to blame is the current Congress government at the center. The Congress Prime Minister, Mr. The BJP Prime Minister, there is no difference at all, so pardon my confusion. Look, there are a couple of issues out here. First of all, it is absolutely disgraceful that the BJP is dilly-dallying on this, and I don't expect them to do any better because, as I said, when I can be confused about who is at the center, Congress or the BJP, it's not about the ecosystem. It's about who is running the government. Number one, on censorship. Rahul, as a free speech absolutist, my stand is well known. I am against any kind of censorship. The job of the CBFC is to give certification to films based on their content, A, U or U by A, not to demand cuts or censor. To censor any film, book, play, show is a disgrace. Why do I say this? Because censoring or curbing freedom of expression is always a subjective decision. Always. What is offensive to you might not be offensive to me. Who is to decide what will cause offense, what will offend religious sensibilities, what is pornographic? Let me give you an example. Say there's a film made tomorrow that simply has a man reciting verses. These verses are polytheists, i.e. Hindus are the worst of creatures, 98:6. Do not marry polytheist women unless they convert 2:21. Do not take disbelievers as friends unless they convert and kill them if they refuse, 489. These are verbatim quotes, not interpretations or contextual. So tell me, should the CBFT decide that all this talk of killing and enslaving those who don't convert to another religion is hateful and censor this film? This country will blow up if that happens. So you have subjectivity written in.
Yes.
This is an absolute disgrace, and the BJP is acting just like Congress if it wasn't Congress to begin with.
It's not a censor board, it's only a certification board. Advaita Kala, what's happening here?
Ideally, I think it should be a certification board, but the way it works out really in the real world is not quite like that. You have a situation wherein there is actually violence, and even theatre owners have rights, even distributors have rights, even people who work in these theatres have rights. And unfortunately, we've seen far too many incidents where this has happened. I mean, my friend Madhur Bhandarkar and his film Indu Sarkar, he was held hostage for a while. So this is the problem. And then it just snowballs into something completely irrational. I hate to say it, but we just don't have the maturity, even as a viewing public, to be able to appreciate a certification. We don't. And let's be honest, this is an unfair system. Look at Netflix and other OTT platforms. They can put anything out there without any disclaimers and get away with it, because in those cases, people view this from the comfort and the safety of their home. But when it comes to public exhibition, like with cinema, then there are all these rules and layers. So what are we going to do? Are we just going to transition then to OTTs and not have film releases in movie theaters and then just write and do and shoot whatever we want because there's no control on that medium? I think we're heading there.
Well, look, I don't know, but this is an absolute chickening out of, a corner that quite fairly, Tehseen Poonawalla, the government has no business to be in.
That's true, Rahul. And my views are on this matter absolutely like Dr. Anand Ranganathan. If you don't like a news channel, change the channel. You don't like a book, shut the book. You don't like a piece of art, get out of the gallery. You don't like a movie, walk out of the theater. You also have the right to peacefully ask to boycott it or not watch it. You do not have the right to create violence, and the government has no right to censor. I am against censorship. Adwaita is right. In the real world, the government does censor. But look, in 2014, for your channel has an award ceremony, and I was invited there. And Kangana was there, and the late Arun Jaitley ji was there. And Arun Jaitley ji promised that when the government changed, that time there was the mood that the government would change. He said, look, we will not allow this to happen. That was a promise made publicly on your channel. Now you're censoring you, and it's not about Kangana. I stood up even for Vivek Agnihotri. I stood up for Kerala. You
I think we need to have a uniform approach. You cannot have selectivity. I just need to break